Nationwide Dementia Fest. Notes from the edge of the narrative matrix. Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Joe fucking motherfucking Biden. In a country of 328 million people, the guy that gets elevated to the top is literally one of the very worst human beings in the entire population. That's the democracy you're being told is under attack. And this isn't even prime Joe Biden. This is coming out of retirement for a half-assed exhibition match Joe Biden. This is way past sell-by date Joe Biden. This is Joe Biden with missing pieces. That's the sort of animal that rises to the highest elected office in U.S. democracy. The inauguration was a whole internet of liberals performing amazing mental contortions to forget that Joe Biden is a disgusting piece of shit. Now everyone has forgotten who Joe Biden is, including Joe Biden. A nationwide dementia fest. Obama campaigned on hope and change and delivered nothing but neoliberal oppression and imperialist mass murder. Biden campaigned on fuck you, no, and people think he's somehow going to deliver something positive. People are so cute. Here's a tweet. Joe Biden would be the absolute dead worst Democratic primary candidate if he runs, far worse than any of the other corporate whores they've got lined up. Overall, there's no reason to believe he'd be any better than the current asshole in the White House. You've heard that before somewhere. Perhaps on this show. You can do it, Democrats! Just 2 years of stalling progressive change before you lose the House and Senate and can start claiming the lack of progress is due to an obstructionist Congress. I still can't get over the fact that Dems consciously chose not to give Americans the amount of money they said they would. They discussed it, then said, nah, too much. Subtract that 600 from before. Leftist. There's been a bombing. Liberal. Oh no, where? Leftist. The Middle East and Africa mostly. Our government drops bombs there every day. Liberal. Oh, thank God. I thought you meant a bombing of real people. Ask people if they believe all lives are of equal value regardless of where in the world they live and how much money they have, and most will tell you yes. But if you look at their worldviews and the lives those worldviews tend to snuff out, for the most part, the real answer would be no. The majority of the people who rightly say Black Lives Matter give zero fucks about the people of color who are being butchered by the US empire in the global south right now. Mass media punditry trains people to only value the lives in their own part of the world. Being an anti-imperialist in this society is like being the black sheep of the family who never gets invited to holiday dinners because she always brings up the fact that Uncle Larry is a child molester. It's been more days than this now, Kate. Days that Biden has chosen not to honor his campaign promise of ending U.S. support for the mass atrocities in Yemen. Yeah, I'm not thinking we should hold our breath until he does it. Every day Biden chooses not to move on ending the war in Yemen translates directly into many more dead children. This is not an exaggeration, it is a fact. It requires much, much more urgency than it's getting. Trump's actions in Yemen alone make him a monster whose name should only be spoken with disgust. If you abhor Obama for his warmongering, there's no legitimate reason not to abhor Trump as well. Take that, the Trumpan left. Trump was none of the things Democrats said he was, and none of the things Republicans said he was, and all of the things they both are. There already are at least 3 likely 2024 presidential candidates against whom the Democratic candidate would be the lesser evil. Mike Pompeo, Nikki Haley, and Tom Cotton. This system is designed to feed you an endless river of evil so that you are floating in evil all the time, no matter how you vote. Here's a tweet. They are so full of glee, I can only assume the inauguration features a mountain of dead Middle Eastern children somewhere. The way to stop the rise of right-wing extremism and conspiracy theories is to end government corruption and government secrecy, not to implement authoritarian measures under the banner of fighting terrorism. The way to stop the rise of right-wing extremism and conspiracy theories is to end government corruption and government secrecy, not to implement authoritarian measures under the banner of fighting terrorism. This is obvious to everyone who isn't an idiot. To stop fascism, they'll roll out Patriot Act 2, secretly implement more FBI programs, surveil, censor, militarize, anything except change the conditions which feed into the rise of fascism. Because their rule depends upon those conditions, and because they're fine with fascism. Socialists who promote socialism using esoteric leftist jargon that ordinary people don't understand aren't really interested in promoting socialism. It's just a nerdy hobby for them. They're the same as Star Trek nerds speaking Klingon. Kim Jong-un watching the US inauguration. It's a bit much, isn't it? One advantage the far right has over us is that the mainstream consent manufacturing shitlib culture that is churned out 24/7 by Hollywood is so plainly artificial and cringy. The left needs to fight back by creating culture, real culture, authentic art, and media that moves something deep in people, and by rejecting the establishment's conveyor belt culture instead of just its politics. Well, from a musician's point of view, you have to agree with that. This is why something as simple as Bernie Sanders turning up in mittens captured everyone's hearts and imaginations. It was such a glitch in the whole phony performance and such a nice break from being lied to all the fucking time. We need to give people that experience way more. Trust in the plutocratic media is at an all-time low, and our ability to network and share information is at an all-time high. We absolutely do have a window to wake each other up from the propaganda and create a healthy world. But internet censorship is creeping forward, so that means it must be soon. This is from my daughter Christiana's Facebook feed this morning. This is what he's choosing to speed up efforts on? Jesus H. Christ! People are dying without health care. Biden administration will speed up efforts to put Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill. I can't say I'm sorry to see that happen, but gosh, there might be other things he could focus on first. Andrew Perez and Julia Rock, right? Biden lifts healthcare plan from insurance lobbyists. The incoming president's plan mimics an insurance industry letter instead of pushing a promised public option or Democratic legislation to expand Medicare. President-elect Joe Biden's new COVID relief plan does not adopt existing Democratic legislation to expand government-sponsored medical coverage, nor does it propose a promised public health insurance option. Instead, it adopts proposals from health insurance lobbying groups' recent letter to lawmakers demanding lucrative new subsidies for insurance companies at a moment when those corporations have recorded record profits as millions lose coverage and many face claims denials. Biden's plan would shovel billions of dollars to private health insurers by providing subsidies for Americans to buy coverage through the Affordable Care Act marketplaces, which are far more expensive than government health care programs and have at times been plagued by high rates of claim denials. The plan would also subsidize COBRA continuation coverage through September, allowing workers to keep their employer health insurance plans when they're laid off. Those initiatives, which could further boost insurers' skyrocketing profits, were recently recommended in a letter to lawmakers from America's Health Insurance Plans, AHIP, and the Blue Cross Blue Shield Association, two insurance lobby groups in Washington that have opposed the expansion of government-sponsored healthcare programs. A few days after the letter was sent, AHIP said that health insurance providers are eager to assist the Biden health team. I wonder if they would have said that about the Bernie Sanders health team. Biden's inaugural committee has received donations from at least two major health insurers, Anthem and Centene, which both offer plans on state marketplace exchanges. Centene's CEO bundled donations for Biden's presidential campaign, and Biden's first major campaign fundraiser was headlined by Independence Blue Cross's CEO. I wonder if that's just a coincidence. During the 2020 primary campaign, Biden repeatedly demonized Medicare for All legislation offered by Representative Pramila Jayapal and Senator Bernie Sanders, questioning how the country would pay for it. Yeah, austerity rears its ugly head. And proposing a public health insurance option people can buy into instead. Ka-ching! Democrats previously considered creating a public option during ACA negotiations a decade ago. AHIP secretly bankrolled a successful $100 million advocacy campaign to kill it. While Medicare for All could actually save the country up to $650 billion annually, according to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, Biden is now proposing some of the most costly and inefficient ways to expand health insurance coverage. The moves could still leave people exposed to substantial out-of-pocket costs from deductibles, co-pays, and co-insurance that act as barriers to care. The next heading is Nightmare Deductibles and Widespread Claim Denials. And after that it says, backing away from a public option. It talks about how the Partnership for America's Healthcare Future, PAHCF, spent $4.5 million on advertisements attacking Medicare for All. We saw some of those advertisements during the Democratic primary debates. PAHCF's tax return shows it is steered by executives from AHIP and lobbying groups for pharmaceutical companies and investor-owned hospitals. Skipping ahead, Biden consistently campaigned in support of a public health insurance option, and after the primary, a joint task force made up of Biden and Sanders allies negotiated a fairly robust public option plan. The public option will provide at least one plan choice without deductibles, will be administered by the traditional Medicare program, not private companies, and will cover all primary care without any co-payments and control costs for other treatments by negotiating prices with doctors and hospitals, just like Medicare does on behalf of older people, the task force wrote. The Democratic National Committee's 2020 platform included a similar pledge. Democrats will also make available on the marketplace a public option administered through the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, which includes a platinum-level choice with low fees and no deductibles. Low-income Americans will be automatically enrolled in the public option at zero cost to them, though they may choose to opt out at any time. Now, on the eve of his presidency, and now after he has been inaugurated, Biden is proposing a much more conservative health insurance expansion plan proposed by the health insurance industry. If enacted, the plan could head off any talk in Washington of a public option plan down the road. And that's why we're better off with Biden? Sounds like you're doing a great job of pushing him to the left. He's moving left so fast it could put a crick in your neck trying to watch him. Biden could use his executive authority to expand Medicare during the pandemic using emergency provisions in the Affordable Care Act. Democrats could also seek to expand Medicaid to cover more people. Instead, Biden is pushing a health insurance expansion that would further enrich insurers and put people on insurance plans that will be too expensive for many of them to use. Democrats should reject this insurance industry cash grab. Yeah, I bet AOC is going to lead the charge to stop this plan. Sure she will.